Introduction. In the vast expanse of space, among a myriad of stars and the eternal dance of galaxies, the tales of heroism, strategic mastery, and the quest for freedom unfold. These are the stories that have been whispered through the corridors of time, igniting the flames of hope across the cosmos. This ebook, Galactic Project Management: The Fall of the Death Star, aims to delve into the riveting behind-the-scenes planning and execution of one of the most audacious and fabled missions known to any sentient being, the takedown of the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star. As you journey through the chapters, you'll explore the intricacies of project management through the lens of the Rebel Alliance's daring operation, codenamed Operation Freedom Star. This narrative is not merely a recounting of valiant starfighters and the fateful shot that changed the galaxy. It is a detailed case study in effective project management, from initiation to closing, examining the processes that enabled the rebels to orchestrate a feat that seemed impossible. The ebook is structured to align with the Project Management Institute's PMI framework, offering an imaginative retelling that serves as both a learning tool and a tribute to the enduring legacy of the Star Wars saga. You will gain insights into how the rebels, an under-resourced and overmatched band of freedom fighters, applied the 49 processes of project management across 5 process groups: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing, to achieve their objectives. This is not just a story of space battles and rebel heroics. It's a manual that weaves management principles into the fabric of one of the most iconic battles ever conceived. Whether you are a project management enthusiast, a leader seeking inspiration for managing under duress, or a Star Wars aficionado eager to learn how the rebels might have applied real-world tactics to their fantastical circumstances, this ebook will serve as your guide to a galaxy of strategic wisdom. As you embark on this interstellar educational adventure, prepare to gain a new perspective on project management that is as timeless as the cosmos and as relevant as the ever-evolving challenges of our own world. Welcome to Galactic Project Management: The Fall of the Death Star, Project Charter Development for Operation Freedom Star. In the secret base of the Rebel Alliance, the atmosphere is electric with anticipation and a mix of fear and hope. The senior leaders of the Alliance, including Mon Mothma, Admiral Akbar, and General Dodonna, have gathered to discuss an audacious plan to take down the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star. In the center of the command room, illuminated by the holographic display of the Death Star, stands a confident figure, a recently promoted project manager known for her strategic prowess and leadership, Commander Lyra Antilles. She is given the monumental task of initiating Operation Freedom Star. Inputs. The urgency is conveyed through urgent communiques from intelligence operatives who've successfully infiltrated the Empire's ranks. Providing schematics of the Death Star. Reports of the superweapon's destructive power underscore the need for swift action, reinforcing the business case for the project. The weight of the entire rebellion's future rests on the success of this mission. Tools and techniques. Using her expert judgment honed by years of guerrilla warfare and collaborative meetings with the top brass of the Rebel Alliance, Commander Antilles begins to draft the project charter. Her data gathering is meticulous, factoring in every scrap of intelligence they have on the Death Star. Decision-making techniques are used in meetings where all leaders engage in a multi-criteria analysis of various attack strategies. Output. The project charter is a manifesto of rebellion and hope. It outlines the mission objectives, identifies the project's high-level requirements, and the risks involved. It grants Commander Antilles the authority to mobilize the rebellion's resources, starfighters, personnel, and intelligence assets, to achieve the project's goals. Identify stakeholders for Operation Freedom Star. With the project charter in hand, Commander Antilles embarks on the next critical mission phase, identifying all stakeholders. Inputs. The project charter provides a baseline for this process. Intelligence reports and existing alliances within the Rebel network serve as critical information sources. Tools and techniques. Commander Antilles and her team engage in detailed stakeholder analysis using data analysis techniques. They reach out through secure channels, employing interpersonal skills to understand the varying levels of influence and interest among the disparate groups within the rebellion. Output. The stakeholder register comes to life in the form of a diverse list that includes rebel pilots, ground forces, logistics officers, diplomatic contacts, and covert operatives. Their levels of influence, interest, and potential impact on the mission are meticulously noted. This register becomes the foundation of a broader stakeholder engagement plan, which will guide the commander in managing expectations and communication, ensuring that every stakeholder moves in unison towards the single goal of destroying the Death Star. Commander Antilles, with the Charter and Stakeholder Register, now has a clear mandate and knows who she will need to engage, influence, and manage throughout this epic undertaking. The scene concludes with a sense of unified determination as the next phase of the mission, planning, begins to unfold. The fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance, and the Rebel Alliance's most crucial project is set in motion with a clear direction and the support of its key players. Develop Project Management Plan for Operation Freedom Star. With the project charter in hand, Commander Antilles convenes with her top advisors and strategists aboard the flagship. The war room is abuzz with activity as the brightest minds of the Rebel Alliance engage in heated debates and meticulous planning. Inputs. They pore over the project charter, the mission's guiding document, and draw from the extensive organizational process assets of the Alliance. Battle tactics, historical engagements with the Empire, and a deep well of operational strategies. Tools and techniques. Using collaborative meeting techniques facilitated by droids adept at data processing, the team begins integrating individual plans for scope, schedule, and costs into a comprehensive project management plan. This plan includes communication matrices encrypted to evade Imperial interception, procurement documents for acquiring new X-Wing fighters from sympathetic planets, and a complex risk management plan accounting for the many uncertainties of battle. Output. The project management plan becomes a beacon of hope, a detailed roadmap to victory. It includes the now famous Battle of Yavin strategy, delineating the phased approach to reaching the Death Star, a meticulous sequence of hyperspace maneuvers, and the detailed schematics for the Death Star's single weakness. Plan stakeholder engagement for Operation Freedom Star. Recognizing the crucial role that every member of the Rebel Alliance plays, Commander Antilles sets out to ensure that all stakeholders are adequately engaged. Inputs. The previously developed stakeholder register lays the groundwork, listing everyone from Luke Skywalker, a young pilot with an important role, to the leaders of allied planets, to the ground crew that will prep the starfighters for battle. Tools and techniques. Expert judgment is called upon as the team analyzes each stakeholder's influence and devises engagement strategies. The information is gathered through covert and open channels, and communication plans are drawn up using knowledge of each stakeholder's preferred communication methods and needs. Output. The stakeholder engagement plan comes together, outlining how to involve all parties in this critical fight for freedom. It details the information flow and feedback loops between Alliance Command and the fighter squadrons, ensures that ground technicians are prepped and ready, and incorporates ways to keep the morale high among the troops. Through careful planning and stakeholder engagement, the Rebel Alliance crafts not just a mission plan, but a movement, galvanizing a diverse group of individuals and planets around a common cause. As the planning concludes, there is a sense of solemn commitment among the ranks. The holograms flicker off, and Commander Antilles looks upon her team, knowing they have laid the groundwork for what is to come. Now, they must move to execute their plan, as the fate of countless systems rests on the success of Operation Freedom Star. In the heart of the rebellion's secret headquarters, the planning phase for Operation Freedom Star kicks into high gear, and Commander Antilles is now focusing on scope management, a crucial step to ensure the mission's success. Plan scope management for Operation Freedom Star. In a strategy session illuminated only by star charts and holograms, Commander Antilles and her team of tactical experts begin drafting the scope management plan. Inputs. The mission objectives outlined in the project charter serve as the primary input, complemented by intelligence reports from both spies detailing the specifications of the Death Star. Tools and techniques. Leveraging interactive workshops and utilizing historical data from previous encounters with Imperial forces, the team begins to define the processes that will ensure the mission scope is accurately maintained throughout the mission lifecycle. Output. The scope management plan emerges, a document delineating how scope will be defined, validated, and controlled. It will be the guidepost for keeping the mission focused solely on the critical path to victory, destroying the Death Star without becoming mired inside battles. Collect requirements for Operation Freedom Star. The command center buzzes with the fervent energy of Rebel pilots, engineers, and leaders as they gather to articulate what they need to make this mission a success. Inputs. Drawing from the project charter and utilizing the knowledge of all the allies, including defecting Imperial engineers who possess insider knowledge of the Death Star's construction. Tools and techniques. A combination of brainstorming sessions, interviews with fighter pilots, and analysis of past battles helps to collect the various requirements from the operational to the technical. Output. A comprehensive list of mission requirements is compiled, detailing everything from the number of proton torpedoes needed to the specific flight patterns required to navigate the treacherous trench on the Death Star's surface. Define scope for Operation Freedom Star. With all requirements laid out, the War Room's holographic displays now show a 3D model of the Death Star, as the team owns in on defining the exact scope of the mission. Inputs. The collected requirements become the foundation, bolstered by the technical blueprints of the Death Star's architecture. Tools and techniques. Through meticulous document analysis and product breakdown, the scope begins to take shape. The team employs progressive elaboration to refine the objectives until they crystallize into a clear mission statement. Output: the defined scope is a detailed description of the final assault, a succinct narrative of the mission's endgame, focusing on the approach to the Death Star, the entry into its defense perimeter, the attack run itself, and the escape plan. Create Work Breakdown Structure, WBS, for Operation Freedom Star. Now comes the time to break down the massive undertaking into manageable components. The rebel leaders and their most trusted aides gather around the holographic display as the Work Breakdown Structure, WBS, begins to form. Inputs: the defined scope provides the baseline for this crucial step. Tools and techniques. Utilizing decomposition, the mission is divided into smaller, more manageable parts. Teams are formed around each component, from the squadrons that will engage in the space battle to the special team that will make the trench run to the support crews ensuring all X-Wings are battle-ready. Output: the WBS is the mission blueprint, a comprehensive visual representation of all the work to be done. Each element of the WBS is a mission-critical task, from disabling the Death Star's tractor beam to the final, precise shot required to reach its core reactor. In the dim light of the command center, the WBS is displayed, a complex network of tasks and responsibilities. It represents hope and an audacious plan to bring about the end of the Empire's reign of terror. Commander Antilles nods in approval. The scope management for Operation Freedom Star is complete. Now, the rebellion knows exactly what it needs to do, and each member understands their role in this historic undertaking. The planning continues, with the confidence that comes from knowing the path forward is clear and well organized. Amidst the gravity of the impending mission, the Rebel Command Center is a flurry of activity as Commander Antilles and her team dive into the meticulous task of schedule management for Operation Freedom Star. Plan schedule management for Operation Freedom Star. Gathered around the dim glow of a tactical display, the planning team prepares to create a schedule management plan that will define how to plan, manage, and control the mission schedule. Inputs: the scope baseline, including the WBS and project environmental factors, provides a framework for this planning session. Tools and techniques. Engaging in expert judgment and analytical techniques, the team discusses the best scheduling methodology and software that will be used to simulate various attack scenarios. Considering the erratic behavior of the Imperial fleet. Output: a schedule management plan materializes, laying out the scheduling approach, the timeline of key milestones, and the strategy for monitoring and controlling the schedule as the mission progresses. It's not just a plan, it's a battle rhythm that will keep the heartbeat of the rebellion synchronized. Define activities for Operation Freedom Star. Now, each task from the WBS must be expanded into a detailed list of activities that will bring the plan to life. Inputs: the WBS, the mission statement, and the defined scope provide the basis for identifying the detailed steps needed to carry out the work. Tools and techniques. Decomposition is utilized again, as the team breaks down the work package elements into smaller, more manageable activities. They employ rolling wave planning, as some tasks cannot be fully planned until others are complete. Output: the list of defined activities includes precision tasks such as infiltrate Imperial network and X-Wing fighter refueling operations, each contributing directly to the mission's critical path. Sequence activities for Operation Freedom Star. The sequence of these activities is crucial. Timing is everything when it comes to a surprise attack on an adversary like the Death Star. Inputs: drawing from the defined activities and considering any mandatory dependencies, such as the need to disable the shield generator before any attack can proceed. Tools and techniques. Using network diagrams and applying dependency determination, the team sequences the activities. Precedence diagramming methods, PDM, reveal that some tasks must be executed concurrently, such as the distractionary skirmishes and the main trench run. Output: a carefully crafted network of sequenced activities emerges, showing not only the order of operations but also the critical dependencies that link them. Estimate activity durations for Operation Freedom Star. With the activities sequenced, it's time to estimate how long each task will take. Inputs: expertise from seasoned pilots, engineers, and intelligence officers feeds into the process, along with the defined activities and resource calendars. Tools and techniques. Analogous estimating is used, drawing from historical data of past battles, while parametric estimating uses the statistical relationship between variables to calculate timeframes. Output: the activity duration estimates provide a realistic timeline for each operation, from the seconds required for an X-Wing to make the shot on the exhaust port to the hours needed to gather the fleet. Develop schedule for Operation Freedom Star. The culmination of the schedule management process is the development of a comprehensive schedule. Inputs. The sequence of activities, their estimated durations, resource calendars, and any schedule constraints are all taken into account. Tools and techniques. Critical path method, CPM, is applied to determine the minimum project duration and identify the critical path activities that must be closely managed. Schedule network analysis integrates all activities, durations, resources, and constraints to create a schedule model. Output. A detailed schedule for the mission, often represented in a Gantt chart, is developed, showing not just when each task should begin and end, but also identifying float times and simulating various risk scenarios to prepare for contingencies. As the planning team presents the final schedule, the rebel leaders and their teams can visualize the attack unfolding, step by critical step. Commander Antilles approves the schedule with a determined nod, aware that this detailed planning is pivotal for the success of their audacious mission. There is no room for error. The synchronized efforts of every rebel pilot, ground crew, and support unit hinge on the precision of this schedule. Operation Freedom Star is now on the clock, and the countdown to the most significant battle in rebel history begins. In the depths of the rebellion's secret base, the gravity of Operation Freedom Star hangs heavy in the air. Now, Commander Antilles and her financial strategists tackle the daunting task of cost management, ensuring the mission does not fail due to a lack of resources. Plan cost management for Operation Freedom Star. Beneath a low hum of hovering droids and the occasional clank of mechanic tools, the financial planning team lays out the framework for managing the mission's costs. Inputs. They gather the project management plan, the mission scope, and historical financial data from previous sorties against the Empire. Tools and techniques. Utilizing their expertise and analytical thinking, they decide on the cost management approach, choose the estimation tools, and establish the cost baseline and performance measurement rules. Earned value management. For example, output. The cost management plan emerges, a meticulous guideline that details how the Alliance will estimate costs, determine the budget, and control spending. The stakes are too high for financial oversights. The survival of the rebellion may well depend on the precision of this document. Estimate costs for Operation Freedom Star. The team moves to the critical task of estimating costs, calculating everything from the fuel for a single X-Wing to the expenses associated with mobilizing the entire rebel fleet. Inputs. Utilizing the defined activities and resource requirements, along with vendor bids for supplies and the costs of potential outsourced services like smuggler routes and safe havens. Tools and techniques. The team employs a mix of analogous and parametric estimating, benchmarking against similar historical missions, while also adjusting for the unique aspects of this death-defying assault. They also utilize expert judgment, calling upon the financial wisdom of experienced rebels who have financed operations under the Empire's nose. Output. Estimated costs provide a forecast of the financial resources required to ensure the success of the mission. These are not just numbers. They represent the livelihoods and sacrifices of all who believe in the cause. Determine budget for Operation Freedom Star. The final task in cost management is the creation of a budget that will fund this daring endeavor without depleting the rebellion's coffers. Inputs. Armed with the cost estimates, resource calendars, and the WBS, the team is ready to allocate the overall cost baseline for the mission. Tools and techniques. They use cost aggregation to sum the estimated costs of individual activities or work packages to establish a total cost baseline. Contingency reserves are added to account for uncertainty, and funding limit reconciliation is conducted to ensure that expenditures don't exceed financial constraints at critical times. Output. The budget for Operation Freedom Star is set, with funding allocated for each phase of the mission and reserves in place for unexpected costs. This budget will guide the rebellion's financial decisions as they prepare for the historic battle, ensuring that resources are available when and where they are needed most. As the lights dim in the financial strategy room, the mission's cost management is locked in. The team steps out into the corridors of the base, passing the bustling ranks of rebels who will all play a part in what is to come. Commander Antilles allows herself a moment of pride. Though the path ahead is fraught with peril, the rebellion will not falter on account of logistics or financial oversight. Operation Freedom Star has its budget, one more step on the journey to a hopeful victory. As the Rebel Alliance's strategy for Operation Freedom Star unfolds, the meticulous planning process group continues. Quality and resource management take center stage, along with ensuring effective communication throughout the mission. Quality management for Operation Freedom Star. Quality is not a luxury in this mission, it's a necessity. The survival of entire planets and the future of the galaxy hinges on the flawless execution of the rebellion's plan to destroy the Death Star. Plan quality management. Inside the command ship's conference room, the aroma of engine grease mixes with the steely resolve of the rebel leadership. Here, quality is planned with precision. Inputs. The quality management team reviews the mission objectives, stakeholder expectations, risk register, and cost performance baseline, ensuring the plan aligns with the resources and constraints. Tools and techniques. Applying cost-benefit analysis, they identify quality requirements and standards for the mission. Benchmarking against previous successful operations and utilizing design of experiments, they craft a quality management plan that ensures mission activities meet the highest standards. Output. The quality management plan is crafted, delineating how the team will implement quality assurance and control. It includes quality metrics like X-Wing engine performance standards and success criteria for the Proton torpedo delivery system. Resource management for Operation Freedom Star. Victory requires more than just valor. It demands the strategic deployment of the rebellion's most precious asset, its people and equipment. Plan resource management. At a holodeble aglow with the schematics of rebel fleets and personnel rosters, the planners decide on the allocation of their resources. Inputs. Drawing from the project management plan and activity lists, the team considers availability data and team capabilities. Tools and techniques. Resource breakdown structures and organization theories inform their approach. They deliberate on the roles and responsibilities, ensuring the right mix of skills for each critical task. Output. The resource management plan is created, outlining how resources are categorized, allocated, reported, and managed throughout the operation. Estimate activity resources. Knowing the what and the who of every task, the team works to match their assets to their ambitions. Inputs. With the list of activities and resource calendars at hand, they estimate the needed resources. Tools and techniques. Expert judgment and alternatives analysis come into play as they weigh different resource options. Analogous and parametric estimating help quantify the resources needed for each activity. Output. The activity resource estimates give a clear picture of the specific resources, personnel, equipment, materials required for each step of the mission. Communications management for Operation Freedom Star. In a mission where silence is as crucial as the outcry of victory, the rebels' communication strategy must be beyond reproach. Plan communications management. Deep in the hull of the flagship, surrounded by the hum of encrypted communication devices, the planning team knows that their message must pierce through the void of space and the noise of battle. Inputs. They consider stakeholder information, project charters, and risk registers. Tools and techniques. Utilizing communication models and methods, they establish a communications matrix that who needs what information, when they will need it, and how it will be given to them. Output. The communications management plan emerges, which includes detailed plans for the dissemination of information regarding mission updates, resource status, and real-time battle adjustments. It ensures that every pilot, technician, and officer is informed and in sync. In the heart of the rebellion, plans are taking shape. Quality management ensures excellence in execution. Resource management ensures that the right people and materials are in the right place at the right time. Communications management ensures that every member of the Alliance knows their part in this grand scheme. The pieces are coming together, and as each plan is approved and disseminated, the hope of the galaxy grows stronger. Operation Freedom Star is more than a battle, it is a symphony of skill and courage, with each note carefully planned and every silence orchestrated. The galaxy holds its breath, waiting for the overture of the rebellion's bravest moment to begin. The Rebel Alliance's meticulous planning for Operation Freedom Star progresses, with the strategists focusing on the intricacies of risk and procurement management, and the finesse of stakeholder engagement. Risk management for Operation Freedom Star. Success in the shadows of the Death Star hinges on the Alliance's ability to anticipate, analyze, and address potential risks. Plan risk management. In the dim light of a secluded briefing room, the risk management team pores over every detail of the mission, preparing to foresee the unforeseeable. Inputs. They gather project charters, stakeholder registers, and the mission's objectives, scrutinizing every aspect that could impact the operation. Tools and techniques. The team employs risk management workshops and SWOT analysis to structure a risk management plan that includes methodologies, roles and responsibilities, budgeting for risk activities, and timing for risk management processes throughout the mission. Output. The risk management plan is established, becoming the blueprint for identifying risks, performing qualitative and quantitative risk analyses, and planning risk responses. Identify risks. Every potential hazard, from the smallest technical malfunction to the grandiose tactics of the Empire, must be anticipated. Inputs. Using the risk management plan as a guide, historical information, and current intelligence reports are scrutinized for potential risk identifiers. Tools and techniques, brainstorming sessions, interviews with experienced pilots, and the study of similar historical battles through techniques like cause and effect diagrams and checklists lead to a comprehensive list of potential risks. Output: a risk register is developed, filled with identified risks and conditions, including the dreaded possibility of a trap set by the Empire. Perform qualitative risk analysis. Risks are analyzed qualitatively to prioritize their potential impact on the mission's success. Inputs: the risk register is evaluated, with each risk being rated according to its probability and impact. Tools and techniques: probability and impact matrices are created, and risks are categorized. Expert judgment calls on past experiences to assess risk characteristics. Output: an updated risk register with prioritized risks, providing a clear vision of which threats need more attention and resources. Perform quantitative risk analysis. A deeper dive into the quantifiable implications of identified risks is conducted to inform decision-making. Inputs: drawing from the risk register, the team also considers cost and schedule management plans for numerical analysis. Tools and techniques. Simulation techniques like Monte Carlo analysis and decision tree analysis provide statistical data on the potential outcomes and impacts of risks. Output: quantitative risk information is added to the risk register, including probabilistic analysis of the mission and potential cost and schedule impacts. Plan risk responses. The Alliance strategizes responses for the highest priority risks, both threats and opportunities. Inputs: the risk register and risk management plan guide the formulation of risk responses. Tools and techniques. Strategies such as avoid, transfer, mitigate, or accept are debated and selected. Contingency plans and fallback plans are developed for scenarios like Imperial ambushes or shield generator malfunctions. Output: the risk register now contains specific risk response plans, ensuring readiness for uncertain events during the mission. Procurement management for Operation Freedom Star. With a galactic-scale mission at hand, ensuring the right supplies and partnerships through procurement is critical. Plan procurement management. Logistics officers convene, examining what parts and services need to be outsourced to complement the Alliance's resources. Inputs: the team assesses the project management plan, scope statement, and requirements documentation. Tools and techniques, market research, and make-or-buy analysis are conducted, as well as considerations for potential contract types. Output: the procurement management plan is completed, detailing how procurement processes will be managed from contract initiation to closure. Stakeholder management for Operation Freedom Star. Understanding and managing the expectations of all involved parties is vital for the cohesion of the rebel forces. Plan stakeholder engagement. Communication leads and mission planners gather to ensure every voice within the Alliance is heard and understood. Inputs: the stakeholder register and analysis tools are used to understand the needs, interests, and potential impact each stakeholder has on the mission. Tools and techniques. Engagement strategies are developed using engagement assessment matrices to identify current and desired engagement levels. Output: a stakeholder engagement plan is formulated, focusing on aligning stakeholder expectations with the mission's objectives, ensuring sustained engagement and support throughout the operation. With risk procurement and stakeholder management plans in place, the Alliance's strategy is robust and comprehensive. Each facet of planning interlocks with the next, creating a formidable tapestry of preparation that not only anticipates the dangers ahead but engages the passion and commitment of the entire Rebel Alliance. As the final elements of the plan are approved, the momentum towards the mission's execution builds. The rebellion is ready, each member prepared to play their part in what will be remembered as a defining moment in the history of the galaxy. And the crucial execution phase of Operation Freedom Star. The Rebel Alliance shifts from planning to action, bringing the detailed strategies and plans to life as they undertake the daring assault on the Death Star. Integration management. The rebellion's leaders take the helm to direct and manage project work, turning the many plans and schedules into coordinated, tangible actions. The X-Wing squadrons launch, the support teams brace for signals, and everyone moves with a sense of urgent purpose. Throughout, the project leaders document changes, adapt to new situations, and issue new orders to navigate the unpredictable environment of space warfare. Managed project knowledge becomes critical as well. Veterans of past skirmishes share insights, while intelligence from captured Imperial data provides a wealth of new information. This collective knowledge is disseminated quickly, allowing pilots to adjust to last-minute changes in Imperial tactics and technical teams to resolve unforeseen issues with astromech droids. Quality management. Manage quality underpins every effort. The technical teams perform double checks on the X-Wing fighters and the Millennium Falcon, ensuring that all craft meet the stringent performance standards required to withstand the Empire's onslaught. The quality management plan is in full force, with every bolt tightened and every system calibrated for the highest reliability. Resource management. In Acquire Resources, the Alliance has secured not only the best pilots in the galaxy but also critical supplies. Everything from blaster packs to medical supplies is gathered, accounted for, and ready for use. Logistics officers work around the clock to ensure that these resources are where they need to be, at the moment they are needed. Develop team focuses on more than just skill. The morale and camaraderie of the group are fostered through briefings and shared meals. The unique talents of each member are recognized, creating a sense of unity and shared destiny among the diverse group of rebels, droids, and even former Imperial turncoats. Manage team then takes precedence, as leaders and commanders provide real-time feedback during the mission, mediating disputes, and offering encouragement. As the operation unfolds, they track individual and team performances, recognizing achievements and swiftly addressing any discord or difficulties that arise. The adaptability and resilience of the team are vital as they face the full might of the Empire. As the execution phase unfolds, the Rebel Alliance is a beehive of activity, every member playing their part in the colossal undertaking. From the flight decks to the remote support bases, everyone is united by a common goal: to bring down the Death Star and restore freedom to the galaxy. In this monumental effort, the tenets of project management are not just academic, they are the lifelines that hold the mission together, guiding the rebellion towards a victory that seems against the odds. The stakes could not be higher, and the Rebel Alliance rises to the challenge, ready to carve a path to a better future. As the Rebel Alliance continues with the execution phase, they are deep into the resource and communications management processes, ensuring that the foundation for the success of Operation Freedom Star is solidly in place. Resource management. Acquire resources. The Rebellion's logistics team is in a race against time, pulling together the galaxy's best and bravest to join the cause. They reach out to sympathizers across star systems to gather both sentient and material resources, from the sharpshooting Ewoks of Endor to the reliable starships provided by defectors from the Empire's own fleet. These resources are critical, as each component and individual plays a pivotal role in the success of the mission. Develop team. With the resources in place, attention turns to the individuals who will carry out the mission. The Alliance invests in rapid, intensive training programs to sharpen the skills needed for the operation. Simulations and drills keep pilots and ground forces on their toes, while team-building exercises unite the group from various backgrounds and cultures into a cohesive unit, establishing trust and camaraderie that will be crucial in the heat. Manage team. As the mission progresses, Rebel leaders closely monitor their teams. They are on the lookout for the ace pilots who can run the trench on the Death Star surface, the mechanics who work tirelessly to keep the fleet in fighting condition, and the strategic minds planning the assault. Performance reviews are continuous and real-time, enabling swift recognition of valor and rapid response to any interpersonal conflicts or morale issues. Leaders are prepared to reassign roles to maximize team effectiveness, ensuring the right people are in the right place at the crucial moment. Communications management. Manage communications. The complexity of coordinating a battle against the Death Star requires flawless communication. The Rebellion establishes secure lines for data transfer, using encoded transmissions to evade Imperial eavesdropping. Information is the lifeblood of the mission, from the timing of the assault to the weak points on the Death Star provided by the stolen plans. The communications team also ensures that all rebels, from the foot soldiers to the highest-ranking officials, are kept in the loop with consistent updates. Holoprojectors display real-time progress, while the Rebel network disseminates updates on Imperial movements and potential counterattacks. In this way, every member of the Alliance can adapt to the unfolding battle, armed with the latest intelligence. In this high-stakes scenario, effective communication isn't just about keeping the team informed. It's about maintaining the spirit and resolve of the fighters. Each message reinforces the message of hope and the vision of a galaxy free from tyranny. With the resources marshaled, the team fortified, and the channels of communication crystal clear, the Rebel Alliance stands ready to face the Empire. The detailed planning and preparation phases have set the stage for what will be the most significant battle in the Alliance's history, and as they move into action, the Rebellion knows that their success depends on more than just firepower. It depends on their unity, their preparedness, and their unshakable commitment to the cause. Continuing with the Rebel Alliance's preparation in Operation Freedom Star, they delve deeper into the intricacies of stakeholder, procurement, and risk management. These areas are crucial to keep the mission on track and ensure the highest chance of success in their audacious plan to destroy the Death Star. Stakeholder management. Manage stakeholder engagement, recognizing the diversity of their stakeholders, from the political leaders of the Rebel Alliance, such as Mon Mothma and Princess Leia, to the various species and organizations that have a stake in the Empire's defeat. The leadership commits to a comprehensive engagement strategy. They hold clandestine meetings, using secure channels to discuss strategy, gather support, and ensure that all parties are aligned with the mission's objectives. They address concerns from the more pacifist members of the Alliance while harnessing the passion of the more militant factions. The Alliance leaders also work closely with local system representatives to ensure that the fallout from their mission does not negatively impact the uninvolved systems. Procurement management. Conduct procurements. The Alliance must secure critical supplies and services from various sources across the galaxy. They discreetly approach neutral traders for weapons and provisions, and contract engineers and shipwrights to modify and enhance their fleet. These procurement activities are conducted under a veil of secrecy to prevent leaks and ensure that the Empire does not get wind of their plans. By carefully selecting sellers based on reliability and discretion, and negotiating contracts that ensure timely delivery of essential goods and services, the Rebel procurement officers play a critical role in mission preparation. Risk management. Implement risk responses. As the Rebel planners analyze their risk register, they develop and now begin to implement risk response strategies. For instance, they train squadrons for evasive maneuvers in response to the risk of heavy losses due to the Death Star's formidable defenses. Backup plans are put in place for extraction should the primary mission fail. For the risk of betrayal or information leaks, they prepare misinformation campaigns and have counterintelligence operatives on standby. They also have contingency plans for quick retreats to secondary rendezvous points if the primary base is compromised. By integrating these three management areas into their project execution, the Rebel Alliance ensures that every angle of the upcoming operation is scrutinized, every potential setback has a contingency plan, and every stakeholder is actively involved and informed. Their leaders know that by paying close attention to these aspects, they not only increase their chances of a successful mission but also strengthen the fabric of the Alliance itself, regardless of the operation's outcome. As the Rebel Alliance proceeds with Operation Freedom Star, they enter a crucial phase that could make or break their mission to destroy the Death Star. Monitoring and controlling. In this phase, they must meticulously track their progress and be ready to make swift adjustments as new information and challenges arise. Integration management. Monitor and control project work. Rebel leaders regularly gather with squadron commanders, intelligence officers, and logistics coordinators in the war room aboard the flagship. They pore over holographic displays of the Death Star, reviewing the timing of sabotage missions, the positioning of their forces, and the status of the X-Wing fighters' readiness. They compare current progress to their detailed project plan, ensuring each task aligns with their timeline and milestones. Perform integrated change control as inevitable changes arise. Perhaps an Imperial fleet moves to intercept, or there is an unexpected weakness discovered in the Death Star. The Alliance's Change Control Board, comprising senior members from various disciplines, convenes. They rapidly assess each change request, considering the potential impact on their strategy and resources. Approved changes are carefully documented and communicated across the network, ensuring that every team member is aware and can adjust their actions accordingly. Scope management. Validate scope. After each critical operation, whether it's a successful intelligence-gathering mission or a test run of the Death Star's shield penetration, designated officers review the outcomes to confirm they meet the predefined criteria. Did the reconnaissance team bring back the needed information? Did the shield penetration test successfully identify a vulnerability? These are the kinds of questions they must affirmatively answer to formalize acceptance of these deliverables. Control scope. As the situation evolves, the Alliance is vigilant against scope creep. They cannot afford to have their mission objectives diluted or diverted by unplanned activities, no matter how tempting those targets may be. When a proposal for an additional attack on an Imperial supply convoy arises, it is weighed against the primary mission's objectives. Only those actions that directly contribute to the main goal, the destruction of the Death Star, are sanctioned. This discipline ensures that all efforts remain focused and resources are not squandered. In this monitoring and controlling process, the Rebel Alliance proves agile and responsive, qualities essential for adapting to the volatile environment of galactic conflict. With the Death Star in their sights, they move forward, knowing that their ability to monitor, control, validate, and contain the scope of their work will be pivotal in their quest to restore freedom to the galaxy. As the Rebel Alliance continues with Operation Freedom Star, the mission's success hinges on their ability to monitor and control every aspect of their plan. Here's how they might execute these crucial processes. Schedule management. Control schedule. The Rebel Alliance must keep a close eye on the timelines of their numerous operations. A specialized team uses advanced tracking systems to oversee the progress of each mission task. They work closely with squadron leaders to ensure that key milestones, such as the arrival of reinforcements or the completion of the Death Star plan's analysis, occur as scheduled. Any deviation from the plan prompts an immediate evaluation to either expedite following actions or to reallocate resources to get back on track. Cost management. Control costs. Although the Alliance's resources are limited, they must manage their budget meticulously. Financial officers oversee the allocation of funds, ensuring that vital operations like the maintenance of starfighters and the procurement of proton torpedoes are prioritized. They review expenditures against the budget baseline and make tough decisions to divert funds from less critical activities if necessary. Quality management. Control quality. Quality is non-negotiable, especially when it comes to the reliability of their spacecraft and the accuracy of their intelligence. Engineers perform rigorous tests on the X-Wing fighters' weapon systems and deflector shields, ensuring they meet the highest standards. Meanwhile, intelligence data is cross-verified with multiple sources to prevent the risks of misinformation. Resource management. Control resources. Resource managers work to ensure that every cell within the Rebel Alliance has what it needs to function, whether it's personnel, starships, or medical supplies. They adjust allocations dynamically as the situation on the ground changes, ensuring, for example, that the medical frigates are well stocked and positioned for rapid deployment. Communications management. Monitor communications. The Rebel communications team safeguards the integrity of their network, continuously monitoring to prevent Imperial interception. They manage the flow of information to keep all cells of the Alliance informed without compromising security. Communication protocols are adjusted in real time to respond to any detected threats. Risk management. Monitor risks. Risks are constantly reassessed, with the Rebel risk management team keeping a vigilant eye on new intelligence that may indicate emerging threats. They track the performance of implemented risk response plans and adapt them as necessary, ensuring that the Alliance remains as many steps ahead of the Empire as possible. Procurement management. Control procurements. The logistics team scrutinizes every procurement deal, ensuring that suppliers meet their commitments and that the goods delivered are of the expected quality. They are also responsible for renegotiating terms and finding new suppliers at a moment's notice if any current vendors become compromised or are unable to fulfill their obligations. Stakeholder management. Monitor stakeholder engagement. Alliance leaders maintain strong ties with their diverse stakeholders. From the political figureheads who navigate the intricacies of intergalactic relations to the grassroots supporters who run the supply lines on occupied planets. They constantly refine their stakeholder engagement strategies to ensure that everyone is moving in concert toward their shared goal. By adeptly handling these monitoring and controlling processes, the Rebel Alliance increases their operational effectiveness and resilience. Each decision, each adjustment, brings them closer to their objective, ensuring that when they make their move against the Death Star, they do so with the full force and support of a unified, well-prepared alliance. Closing the Operation Freedom Star project would be the final act after the successful destruction of the Death Star. This phase in project management encapsulates several important steps to ensure that the mission is concluded systematically and that the Rebel Alliance can learn from the experience for future operations. Here's how the closing phase might unfold. Integration management. Close project or phase. The Rebel leaders would initiate the closure process, which involves several key actions. Confirming completion. First, the project team would verify that all project requirements have been met. This means ensuring that the Death Star is indeed destroyed and poses no further threat. Final performance reporting. The Alliance would gather data and feedback on how the mission unfolded, including the performance of the forces, the effectiveness of tactics, and the accuracy of intelligence. Administrative closure. Next would come the administrative tasks such as releasing project resources, archiving project documents, and ensuring that all contracts are closed, and final payments are made to any external vendors or contractors. Lessons learned. This crucial step involves documenting what worked well and what didn't. Given the scale of Operation Freedom Star, the lessons learned would be invaluable for future strategic planning and execution. Celebration and recognition. The success of the mission would likely be marked with celebrations across the galaxy. Additionally, the Rebel Alliance would formally recognize the contributions of all participants, from the pilots to the support staff, reinforcing morale and unity. Procurement management. Close procurements. The procurement team would finalize all agreements with external vendors. They would ensure that all deliverables have been received and accepted, all accounts are settled, and formal closure is obtained, which might include audits or legal sign-offs. ensuring that no further claims can be made by either party. Stakeholder management. Close communications. Finally, the alliance would issue a final project report to all stakeholders. This would serve both as a historical record and as a communication tool to inform all interested parties, including distant planets and systems, of the outcome of the mission. The closing phase is not just about ending the project but also setting the stage for the future. It involves making sure that the rebellion capitalizes on the success of Operation Freedom Star and integrates its learnings into the planning of subsequent missions. This phase also helps ensure that the rebellion remains prepared and even more resilient in the face of the continuing conflict with the Empire.